This is the Horse Radio Network.
This is episode 5 of the Wisdom by WESA show on the Horse Radio Network. This is Mike Donnell.
This is Casey Wilbanks-Coletti.
And this is Sophia Aguila. Welcome to the Wisdom by WESA podcast on the Horse Radio Network.
This podcast is brought to you by the Western and English Sales Association, WESA, which produces the world's largest trade events for retailers, manufacturers, and sales representatives of the equestrian industry. In this podcast, we feature exclusive interviews with noteworthy Western and English personalities, retailers, and exhibitors who you've always wanted to talk to. Don't miss out on all the news for manufacturers and retailers in the equine industry. In this episode, we speak with Sophia about how you can win fun prizes at the September Market, and we also talk with Terri Lynn Calhoun from Rafter T Ranch Co. about her legacy. So, Sophia, tell us about these super fun giveaways you keep talking about.
Yeah, so as a retailer, you can participate in one of two drawings, either the market certificate or the manufacturer certificate drawing. So just find one of the board members, Rodeo Queen or Princess, at the entrance of the opening night reception in the pavilion. And they'll hold bowls where you can just drop off your business card, and that's all you have to do to participate.
So there's an opening night reception. What time does that start?
That's on Friday, September the 7th, and it starts at 4:30 p.m.
Okay, so back to these prize giveaways. What can they win?
Retailers can win one of 6 $500 market certificates, which they can spend with any WESA exhibitor during the September Market, or one of 10 certificates for various manufacturers. For example, a pair of non-exotic Twisted X boots, a Greeley Hatworks classic hat, or one of 3 classic saddlebags by Cashel.
Wow, I want to get into this contest. But so how will the winners know that they won? When will they be announced?
Yeah, so the drawing and the winner announcement will take place during the opening night reception, and you'll have to be present to it.
Terri Lynn Calhoun, the founder of the Rafter T Ranch brand of tack, knows the Western lifestyle well. She's been a competitor, a ranch hand, a publisher, a disc jockey, and a tack designer. She's the mother of 2 cowboys and a rancher's wife. While Rafter T Ranch brand is her own creation, she credits her inspiration and work ethic to her father and says the company is based on a sense of family and traditional values. Let's welcome Terri Lynn to our show. Terri, thanks so much for taking some time out of your busy day to chat with us on Wisdom by WESA.
Well, thank you, Mike. I look forward to this.
Well, we're glad to have you. An interesting story, tradition behind you, your family, and the brand. To bring our audience up to date quickly, just a little bit about your background and then about Rafter T, and we'll just kind of chat in with questions from that point on.
Well, let's see. Goodness, to start from way back, I actually got into the entire Western lifestyle with my father. We had a Western magazine back in the 90s. And from that, I grew into a radio DJ, believe it or not, on a country radio station. And after I had children, my dad came and approached me to start a tack line. Of course, I'd been riding horses for a long time. So we did this. And my dad and I built a very nice brand for around 8 years. And at the passing of my father, I kind of got to that little crossroads of what do I do next? You know, my compadre is no longer here. But it took me a year and a half, and I developed Rafter T Ranch Company, and that would have been January of 2017. So I'm about a year and a half into it right now, but that's kind of, long story short, that's how I got here.
The Rafter T brand is shaped to look like an arrow. And you mentioned this is not by coincidence, and it's intended to represent the direction in which you must aim to travel. And arrows only shoot one way, and it's made to symbolize the notion of never looking back. I just read that off your website, and I think that's really cool. And I'm sure you can add a lot more to that vision.
Well, yes, you're right. And I actually I put the cart before the horse, so to speak, with this company. Like I said, I went a year and a half not really knowing what was I going to do now. And when you kind of go through all the grieving and then you decide, you got to do something, and you do something you're good at and something you enjoy. So this is what I knew. My dad was a very good teacher. And so I knew that I couldn't look back. If I wanted to keep looking back, I was not going to go forward, and I wasn't going to build anything that my kids could be proud of, that's solely what I wanted. But I kind of came up with, I knew at my brand, I wanted an arrow in my brand because I always have loved that statement. And so I was like, I need the arrow in the brand. So I started messing around with the T, and then with that came the Rafter T, and I put some feathers on the bottom. And so my brand became an arrow. So it just fit right in to what I was trying to say in my brand is, I've been through, I know I'm not the only one. There's a lot of people that have been through hard things in their life. But the one thing that we need to know is you can't go back. You got to keep going forward.
Right. Yeah, that's really neat. And, it's like your tack is a constant reminder of that, because it's like you said, we all have obstacles and we all need to keep moving forward and get through those things. But let's get to your tack. It says that your vision is to create and sell beautifully crafted tack and accessories that not only keep up with the trends of today, but also set new trends for tomorrow, which I think is really important. Touch on that for us.
Well, when we had our company before was just kind of when the quote unquote bling tack came in. And my dad and I had a company that we kind of brought that in. We were one of the pioneers of bringing that style of tack in. And all the cowboys were like, that's never going to work. Well, it did. And, and you still see it around today. Whenever I developed this company, I kind of wanted to step away from the bling, and I wanted to call it fashion tack, because fashion is ever changing. What's in today may not be in tomorrow, but you know what? It's going to be in 2 years again. And so I gather a lot of what I design. I get it from the fashion world, not necessarily from the horse world. If you look at boots and you look at even the clothing now, a lot of that's not coming from this industry. It's coming from New York. We're this industry is diving outside of the box. And it's a lot of people do it with boots and clothes, but not really anyone's doing it with tack. And I needed my tack line to be different than what I did before. And that's really difficult to do when you did it for 8 years and say, okay, I'm going to develop tack again, but it can't look anything like the 1,000 pieces I've built before. So that's why I want to be that tack line that when they walk in, they go, oh my gosh, I've never seen this before. Then I go, okay, win.
Right. Yeah. Well, and it's kind of the kind of tack that, say, let's just use the barrel racer, for example, can match her tack to her outfits, because it's you have this fashion forward sense to your tack.
Exactly. Yes, and that's why I also, within my tack, I didn't just limit to myself to be a tack dealer. I also do accessories. So I have matching cuffs, leather cuffs that match my tack. And so when I was at Denver Market, they were like, oh my gosh, you have jewelry that matches the tack. And I said, yeah, who does that? We do. If we think it's going to look good on our horse, well, then obviously we like it. So why not wear it? It matches our spur straps. And so you never know.
Yeah. How cool. Well, your retailers must love you, because it's a product that is easy to market, I'm assuming. I can think of a million ways right now. My head is just spinning, how this tack could be marketed in a fashionable type of way. And you have retailers all over numerous states. Tell us a little bit about your retailers, the marketing they use, maybe kind of, do they use your niche, that fashion niche, to market the product?
They do. And I tell you, I'm beyond blessed to have a lot of people that I've worked with before to come with me on this journey. But I have met so many new people, and that's the greatness of this industry. We are one big family. And so whenever I started this, I was able to reach out and grab some people I felt comfortable with, but so many more have come. This company's a lot different than the company I had before with my dad. This one is more of, it's personal to me. It's something that I don't want to have 1,000 retailers. I don't want to lose focus of who has my tack where. I want to always know that when someone calls and they say, this is so-and-so from, whatever tack place, I want to say, hey, how are you doing? How are the kids? I want that connection. And so I have been able, and only I can do that. I can keep it small and keep it manageable. I have a big board on my wall that tells me every state and has a little flag of what the company is and where it is. I always want to know where I am. With that being said, I have the best retailers ever. I think I'm close to 200 retailers now. In a year and a half is outrageously great. But I have a personal relationship with all of them. And they call me. They don't just send me an order. They call me and give it to me over the phone, and we talk about it. I love what I do, and I love helping them to get something in their stores that people are going to want to come to. You can get, the internet has been destructive to our industry. It's helped, but it hurts these stores. And so by having these nice pieces in there that they can showcase and people go and touch and say, oh, this is great quality, that's what I want to give them. And by bringing on accessories, be it jewelry or purses, I kind of led them to cross-promote it within their store. So you may find my breast collar and head stall over on the side with the clothing and the jewelry because all of it goes together. And so I think, yes, they do cross-promote it within their store, but I think the brand has kind of led them to that.
Right. I'm looking on your website right now, and I just clicked on your 2018 product catalog, and I'm literally only like 3 pages in, and I'm wowed because there's this painted sunflower collection, which I've never seen something like that. And Miss Rodeo, Kansas or something immediately comes to mind. How beautiful would this be on a queen's horse like this? You've got a breast collar, a head stall, you've got matching halters, spur straps. I mean, it's so unique and it's beautiful.
It is. That's a fun one. And, in the old days, you wouldn't catch yellow in the arena. It was like a no-go. Yeah. And so I was a little hesitant with this. But I worked alongside of a friend of mine, and we came up with this idea. And I said, I'm just going to go for it. We'll see. We'll let the customers tell us if it's going to go or not. And but it has, and it's done very, very well. And it's just girly enough, but it's not too much. And so that's, again, a perfect steps away from the bling and goes more into the fashion.
Yes, very cool. And for anybody wondering, that website that I'm sitting on right now, it's Rafter T Ranch Co.com. So it's after ranch, you just put a co.com. Make sure and put that in there. And gosh, just beautiful stuff, Terri. You've done an outstanding job.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. It's fun. I named it Rafter T Ranch because I literally sit on our ranch and I do this, and my kids help me. It's just me, and here my office is in the bunkhouse, and my kids come with me in the mornings, and we just do it all, just our family.
Awesome. Wonderful. Mike, you need to get you one of these tack sets, and we'll get you a horse. We'll get you one of these tack sets.
I was going to say.
We've got stuff for men.
Probably a horse would be first before I had the tack, don't you think?
Yeah. Yes. We'll get you one of those too.
Terri, let's go back and talk about your retailers for a moment. I know you said you had 200 and some. What is the kind of common denominator, if there is one, among those 200? And if a retailer believes that they have the same type of characteristics, how do they reach out to you and have your line in their stores?
Okay, well, first of all, I don't think that there's anything, one common denominator. I can get calls from New York, New Jersey saying, we don't see anything like this here. We want this here. I have multi-chains, and then I have what you call your mom and pop. I've got boutiques. So it's kind of all across the board. And when you love Western, you love the Western lifestyle, and even if you're not a part of the Western lifestyle, you want to look at, I think that we have what you're looking for. I've been very surprised at the amount of people say, oh, that probably won't work for us because we don't have that type of buyer. And my answer is always, have you ever offered it? It's like having a hot dog stand and all you have is mustard. You say they don't like ketchup. Have you ever put ketchup on the table? Because that's what you need to just put it out there. You would be very surprised at what your customers like, but you got to offer it. And the good thing about Rafter T is it's not a huge commitment. my tack is so well priced. The price point is great that you can literally sneak in with around $500, say, and you can have a really nice assortment of spur straps, of brow bands, or any type of accessories. And they fall in love with that spur strap and they want more. And you open my catalog and say, hey, look at all of this. I can get you a rope halter, a brow band. That's a great way to start, because I know that's what a lot of retailers, they have a hard time keeping all that inventory because it's a nightmare. And you don't want dead inventory, for God's sake. But this inventory will not die. And as soon as it starts to kind of go for too long, right behind it, new styles. In January, I have 4 new styles coming out. So that was part of that trendy, staying up. To become a retailer is real simple. They can either call me, they can email me, or, she took them to the website. There's a form on there and information on there. I'm always looking for retailers and looking for that right fit. But there's always ways to get in touch with me. And of course, at the Denver WESA Market, we set up there.
And we'd like to hear that.
Yeah. If I had a store, I would definitely want to do business with you and sell your products. You are so well spoken and so put together. And I was just reading a little more about you. You have roots tracing back 6 generations in livestock and agriculture. You've been a competitor, a ranch hand, a publisher, and now a tack designer. And I definitely, because of your values and just the appearance of your tack, would definitely want to do business with you.
Well, thank you. It's, when you have children, it's funny how you kind of refocus over to everything becomes a teaching moment to your kids. And so that's what this has been a lot of. And just 2 days ago, I was giving my 17-year-old a business class in here of how it all works. And because there's so much more than just making the tack. You have to build a business and you have to take care of the back offices, as well as the front office. And I love doing that. And I love to watch my kids be in the middle of this with me, because I wouldn't be where I am without my dad teaching me the ropes. And I hope that I'm doing that to mine and they'll do it to theirs, because that's kind of how it works.
Right. Well, it sounds like you are doing just that and doing it very well. So thank you so much for coming on the show and visiting with us today and filling us in on your tack. And I'm so glad I got to view pictures of it. And we look to talking to you again soon.
Well, thank y'all so much for this opportunity. This is really, it's heartwarming that y'all would even care enough. Thank y'all very much.
The show notes and the links for today's show can be found at wisdombywesa.com. And of course, feedback, we'd love to hear your feedback. There is a contact link on that website. Again, wisdombywesa.com.
The Wisdom by WESA show will be published on the 15th and the 30th of every month. Don't forget, you can listen on most of your favorite podcast players. You can also listen on the Horse Radio Network app on your iOS or Android phone. Just search Horse Radio Network in the App Store. It's free and it's super easy to use. Be sure to visit all of the great shows on the Horse Radio Network at horseradionetwork.com. Thanks for listening to the Wisdom by WESA podcast. WESA, where the industry meets.